good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Heyo and welcome today. Today you're joined by just me, Daniel. And we're going to be painting page 14. So I'm revisiting it. It's been a little while since I actually did this. And you know, back then I think I created a video where, you know, I was talking about like the final steps and things like that of this book. And it's surprising, like, I had more to do, you know. I had quite a bit of editing to do, go back and retouch a lot of pages and everything like that. So it turned out a lot more work than I expected, but it is what it is, and I'm on page 14. Yeah, so, you know, welcome today. I've been working on these pages, as I say, page 14. And yeah, we've been slowly working on other stuff as well. Did the title page for it, and then I'm revisiting other pages again slowly. You know, I'm revisiting just little tweaks. It's not as big changes as this. It's just little tweaks here and there just to polish some pages off. Some a little bit more than others, depending on, you know, how long ago I worked on them, and you know, at the time, whether I was fully kind of finished with it, or just over it, you know. And yeah, you know, I've achieved a bit this week so far, I think. Yeah, and I'm keeping on going. This week I kind of wanted to discuss, you know, changing things up, you know, always kind of shifting gears and things like that, because, you know, as an artist, as an illustrator, it's just a general life, living general life. Changing things up and making things different can be great for, you know, self-esteem, life in general, your art, you know, everything, you know, changing things up a little bit, having something different from dinner, having, you know, doing something different, creating and painting something different, creating and trying new things, you know, all these things are in this category of changing things up. And shifting your focus as well, you know. If you're always constantly learning kind of the same thing over and over again, you know, you only kind of get good at that one thing, which is alright. There's nothing wrong with just being good at kind of one thing. Well, being good at something, you know. But there's always room for improvement, you know. There's room to get better at other things. Like, for instance, you know, if you're getting good at creating vehicles, and you're really good at creating vehicles, but you're getting better and better and just working at that skill, there's other things that could help with that as well. You know, you could learn how to draw engines, because that goes into vehicles. Learn how to draw wheels better. You know, there's all these elements that make that up, that you could get better at, rather than just getting better at just drawing vehicles. So breaking it up. Yeah, doing the same stuff over and over again. Like I say in some of my videos, drawing the same thing in the same way, the same style, over and over again. I feel like that's, you know, not going to get you anywhere. It's only going to get you good at drawing that one thing in that specific style, you know. So it's great to expand it a little bit, as well, not just to kind of steer focus. It's a whole thing of, you know, focusing on one thing versus focusing on a lot of things. I mean, it's good to focus down on one thing and get that down, but yeah, expand on it. Yeah, you know, if you're doing the same things over and over again, you know, you're gonna get the same results. You know, if you're expecting, you know, you're doing the same thing over again, and you're expecting like thousands of views, or you know, dozens of jobs, or um, you know, if you are kind of doing the same thing over and over again, um, you're probably going to end up with the same results if you keep it up, you know. Um, if you don't get anything from it, for instance, like if you post the same YouTube video or something similar but different, you know, same kind of video over and over again, that's the same, boring, not so great, your same image over and over again, you're only gonna kind of get the same results, and this can be good or bad. You know, there are YouTubers out there that say post the same kind of stuff over and over again, and they do very successful. You know, but their content's obviously really really good, but they're posting that stuff over and over again. Um, but they know that that doing that thing um is going to get them good results, so they do it over and over again. But if if you're doing what you do now and you're like, oh, I should have 1,000 views, rethink it, because you might not have that, because if you try it again and again, you probably going to get the same results. So changing it up, doing something different, maybe for instance, if you are a YouTuber, trying something different, try to try a different video, kind of video. I tried back a year ago, I think I tried doing cam recorded video kind of thing, where I used my cam recorder, FaceTime kind of thing, for a wee bit to do these weekly tips, and then I suppose was okay. It was something different. I tried it. In the end, I didn't like it. It wasn't me. I kind of enjoyed it. It only took kind of to record and everything. It did take so long. There was a little bit of editing, I guess, but but it wasn't for me. But at least I tried it. I kind of gained something from it. Trying something new, some different kind of videos on my channel, tried something different. It didn't work, and sometimes it's like that. You have to try different things and rule them out. If they don't work for you, they don't work for you. For instance, like waking up early to do some paintings, it works for some people, it doesn't work for everyone. And yeah, it's each to their own. But yeah, just constantly shifting and developing, the way that you create, the way you work. It's gonna bring different results and different things, and eventually you'll strike something that will give you a good result. You gotta keep doing that, and that's what kind of these successful YouTubers do, or artists do. A lot of illustrators, artists out there, they keep creating content until they hit a kind of result. And even if they do hit a good result, most like really good artists, even from there, like shift the way they work or create. As again, they don't just, most of them that I've seen, most really successful ones that I've heard from and talked to, and some that I've spoken to, some I've listened to on YouTube, some that I've just spoken to, and things like that. A lot of what I've found is that they do, and me personally, I do it too. Is they might find something successful in their life, a successful piece, and they do that over and over again, that kind of work over and over again, but they eventually keep shifting gears, move on to the next big project, and it's slightly different, and or a different kind of style. Look at like Ross Draws. His work has like evolved in the last kind of few years. I mentioned that in one of the last videos, looking at his previous works and now looking at him now. someone called Cryptid Creations online. He's an awesome artist as well. These are kind of artists that I do kind of follow. And I've seen his work back when I was studying. He's just doing his daily drawings. They looked really cool at the time, but now his work has really kind of evolved, and it kind of has changed up a little bit the way he draws and creates. It's got the same kind of feeling, but there are different feelings to some paintings, and he does different things. He's done like Inktober, which is really cool to see him also do Inktober as well as a daily drawing every day, or daily painting, and yeah, change things up. I think Bogue Chitto as well. I've seen his work. He released. He's done a lot of creatures and animals, and he changes things up. He does different things every year. He doesn't always do the same thing, and for that he grows and he develops his art and everything like that. And there's a lot of these artists like Jake Parker, Adam Duff. They always develop and grow from doing this, changing things up every now and again. And um, you know for me, I always have to kind of shift gears because one, I've got a family. I've got a daughter and she's growing, so like her sleeping pattern and schedule has definitely shifted from time to time. So I've got to kind of develop my schedule around that, as well as working and feeding my family. I've kind of deal with that kind of thing, so I've got to constantly shift my schedule so I can get stuff done and make time to do what I need to do, as well as live a meaningful life and everything like that, and have a good life outside of art and outside of work. um I've gone through a few changes in the way I work. I started out just working on getting better at drawing, mostly just having fun. Just started out drawing. I was just trying to get a little bit better every day, and things like that. I was just trying to have fun, just draw. I really wanted to draw as much as I could, as much as I could in my life. Um, and you know and then moved on to producing a bit more, creating stuff, creating things a bit more, creating my own kind of imagery, my own creations, my own creatures, my own characters. Or I have worked on like characters for other people, as play around or things like that. And also I've done a few jobs of creating someone's like logo and creating um, their book cover. So I've done a few jobs here and there as well. So I've done a bit of that, producing, and always creating new things. And now I'm trying to do both. I'm trying to create things, and I'm trying to learn and get better as much as possible as well. So that becomes challenging to do those both things. And that's what's great. I love a great challenge. And that's what I feel artists should have. A great kind of passion for challenging and learning and growing. It's kind of an important key to learning and growing. Having that passion for challenges. Because without it, I feel like you probably get a little bit lost. If it gets too challenging, you'll give up and you won't do that, And it can work, I suppose, for some people. They stick to what they're good at. They'll always draw in easy stuff and getting by. But you grow so much faster if you have challenges. You'll fall on your ass like millions of times, obviously, from bringing those challenges and failing badly. I've definitely failed a lot, and my works and pieces are created, and that's the way it is, and all, and it doesn't stop. You're gonna fail. Sometimes there's this drawing at the moment I'm trying to do, and I just can't get the drawing right. It, 'cause it involves human anatomy and everything like that. I'm not the best at it, and trying to get the pose right and everything like that. Um, it's just really, really challenging what I'm trying to do. So, but I'm not giving up. I put in probably just half an hour a week. It's not really much, but it's what it is to help me to get this right, get this drawing right, so that I can improve. Because once I start to uh, learn that a little bit more, it'll be easier for me to then go and draw that again, or draw something very similar, or bring it into one of my pieces, that pose, that kind of shape. Maybe there might be a humanoid character I could do in the future, in one of my books, or just painting in general that I could do. So always constantly battling with this is good, always constantly battling with your weaknesses can be good, and yeah, it's always changing things up. Yeah, like I said, if you keep it the same, you're gonna get the same results, and you'll be doing the same thing over and over again. You'll probably get bored, or something like that. And yeah, there's not kind of one size fits all. You got to find the right balance for you, what works for you. Always a battle to find a balance between learning and creating, and changing it up, creating new things, schedules and everything like that. There's not one size fits all. There's no kind of right way to do things. There's no one right way to study. You may hear some artist online, or tutors, or just someone in general say, "Oh, try this." It may not fit for you. Like early morning drawings, waking up early in the morning, it may not work for you. Um, Maybe staying up at night, staying up late at night, or working through the night, that won't work for some people. It might work for some people that are night owls, Um, you know, but yeah, in the past few years, I've been developing my illustrations. I would say before that, I was as well. I was more developing my drawing skills and things like that. My YouTube channel and my general life, trying to make that better. Always constantly trying to get it better. Um, and it's a never-ending thing. I'm always gonna try and um, work out ways to do things better, change things up, change my online presence, change what I can do to try and get better at art and illustration and move forward in my career. I'm always changing those up. Um, for me, I learn as I go with my YouTube channel and my illustration and my art. I just learn and create as I go, kind of a thing. I do obviously take time out to learn from other people and learn from like schoolism, and watch how they do things, everything like that. But I usually learn as I go. I need to kind of have it practical. You can tell me how to paint a fence, or how to paint grass like a million times. But if I don't, physically kind of do it or follow along or something like that, it won't stick in. It just won't. I won't learn it as well. So I do like to kind of paint it along or use it in my work. For instance, I was doing a Daniel Ariaga course while I was doing this book. And I was using, some of the skills that he was kind of explaining and talking about in this book. You know, the character poses, and the way I portray the characters and give them emotion, and all those things I was putting into this book. I was learning from that and putting them in that book, and some other things I was listening to. There's always feeds in, um, and yeah, I have to practically use it in some way or form. I think I did do a little bit of the kind of practical stuff as well that he was doing, um, as well, which helped to develop that too. And I did a humanoid character to help with that as well and develop that skill. But yeah, not every piece I create or every video I create is the best it can be, or the best in the world. And I learn from it. And that's the thing, you've got to learn and develop on it. I look back at some old videos and some old artworks that I have, and I feel some of them is like, oh yeah, I did that, that's all right, and then others are kind of, I did that, really? It's that bad? I didn't remember it being that bad. um and I go back and improve it. Obviously, like here, this was a piece probably 6 months ago. I'm repainting over top of it to just kind of fix it up and finish it. I wasn't done with it, obviously, so just bringing those new skills I have and try to um, really develop this painting as well does help. Um, but yeah, um, I think I've made some pretty awesome artworks and videos out there. My pug series, that was really cool. Um, and the videos that I have achieved, you know, it's been good. And I try my best with them, and that's the thing. You just gotta try your best. Is what you can do. That's all you can do. You can't you know kind of wear yourself out, getting yourself down. Well, I can do more. I can do eight. Try and do this many hours a day and blah blah blah, and do like 8 paintings a day or 8 paintings a week, whatever it is for you. You just gotta keep going and do what you can do. Obviously, there's deadlines with things. But get as far as you can as soon as possible. Don't just sleep on it and then expect it to be done when the last day. That's something that you got to put all your energy all the time as much as you can. Um, we all aren't robots, so take breaks. If you do need a break, take a break. Um, sometimes I get in the mood that I could paint forever, but I stop myself and be like, well, if I keep painting now, I'll probably wear myself out. If I keep going, it'd be good. Keep going for a couple of hours or so, but in the long run, probably tomorrow, like all day tomorrow, I won't feel like painting or something like that. So I do make sure that I keep that up, ration that out. Then I'm not doing it all at one sitting, and then it's like this whole 8 hour gap that I have, I don't actually feel like painting or creating. I make sure that I don't wear myself out as well. And yeah, learning how that rolls, because week from week, month from month, it changes. There are some months and weeks that do work where I'm waking up early painting, or I am staying up late painting, or I am changing it up or trying something different, and it works. Some better than others. It can work, or I don't know, another example, but yeah, just changing things up a little bit can help. Um, I still feel I can improve on things, and that's the thing. You got to look at things you can improve on. It's not always, you can improve on everything. You can only do the best you can do. Um, if you can't improve on something, um, yeah, maybe it's just not in your blood. um, but if you keep tackling it, you eventually improve it in some way or form, no matter how little it is. Like you know, sleeping, getting your sleeping right can help. Things like that. Yeah, just improving on what I have and what I do, and that's what's important. Yeah, for me, I always notice kind of um, changes in my artistic skills as I go along my journey. Um, and it's always helpful, I notice me being able to, paint texture better than I used to, or being able to paint a certain way. Probably a year or two ago, I would be failing at drawing nighttime scenes. Now I am, slightly improving on drawing nighttime scenes and understanding how that all works. So yeah, I'm always, challenging there. There's still things I struggle with, obviously. But I see these things. Um, and I just try and get better when I can, when I've got time to improve my skills. Um, but yeah, changing the way I learn as well. If you know I feel like I'm not learning anything, or I'm just not taking in something I'm learning. For instance, like if I'm trying to learn how to paint a certain way, or draw a certain way, or draw a certain person or a certain thing, um, that I'm trying to create. For instance, in this book, like struggling with drawing Henry the Hedgehog here, struggling to draw him happy, and like he's really excited that he's got this fruit. Um, it was always challenging, um, but tackling it from different angles, and trying to, you know, do different things like learning from Daniel Arriaga's course, and doing other stuff on top, trying different things out, maybe stopping, learning something else and coming back to it, and then, changing things up. You drawing in pencil a few times, because sometimes drawing in pencil for me can work better, because I'm not so kind of editing it so much. I'm trying to get it good in the drawing. It can be just like less pressure, I guess. I'm not so worried about the drawing. I'm just kind of doodling here. It feels more like doodling when I'm using a pencil and a paper. So therefore, I'm less pressured, and I'm kind of, just creating, and sometimes that works in the better. That makes me produce a better drawing to then go and take it and improve on what I've got. Sometimes I do that. I've done that a few times where I've taken one of the drawings, and I've one of the paintings I'm doing on my Photoshop, and I go and then decide to draw it on pencil and paper, just because it's a bit off, or I'm struggling at it, and then I do that, and it cleans up the whole thing. In the end, it fixes it up. It may be a bit of editing. I may have to kind of scrap my painting, or use parts of my painting or something like that, and use this drawing as well. So maybe a bit of editing, but it helps because I'm not kind of fighting trying to make a bad painting better. I'm going from a good drawing to uh, you know, a good painting. I'm not going from a shitty drawing to a good painting. It's much harder to go from a really bad drawing to a good painting than it is from a good drawing to, a good painting. You need a quite good drawing to get to a good painting. Um, but some people are a really good painter but not a great drawer. Some people are like that. It's fine. Um, but for me, definitely, that's the way I see it. Um, the way I know that works for me. If it's gonna be a bad drawing, I can't produce a good painting out of it. Really, I mean, it's possible, but it's gonna be a real struggle. I really have to have a kind of a good drawing and just changing things up. Using a pencil and a paper to do that, or trying a different technique. Maybe it might be digitally drawing it or something. Just trying a different method to create it um, can really help, even if it's like creating it in shapes or something. Just using shapes to create a certain object or person or thing can help to develop it a little further. Or a certain image can help. It's always things like that. If you draw things from different angles, obviously it's gonna, make you understand the form better. And it's the thing. But yeah, sometimes you have to try things out to see if they work for you. Like staying up late, or becoming a vegetarian, or painting at night versus day, or those kind of things. Sometimes you have to try those things to see if they work for you or not. Painting at night might not be for everyone, but it might be for you. So you have to try it out. If it works for you, it works for you. If it benefits your health, so you can sleep during the day and still get your 8 hours sleep that you need, or whatever hours sleep that you need, and still have a um, healthy life. Live painting at night and sleeping during the day and working that out. Then you know what works for you. But sometimes you try it and it doesn't work at all. You don't sleep during the day. You get really bad health problems. Then don't keep going with it, because it's not working for you, obviously. You feel like you're producing more work, but your health is at risk. You got to keep your health safe. That's the thing. You got to look at your health as well. You got to, if you're not happy, you're not healthy, you're not gonna create good paintings. If you got wrist problems and things like that, you're not gonna be able to draw. So if you don't keep your health up, make sure you draw in the right positions. You're not bending over the table, or just struggling at sitting while you're drawing. You got to break your back and things like that, which can lead to other health problems and things like that. So just keeping your health can be so much better, and changing things up. Sometimes you might be drinking too many energy drinks, or eating too much fatty foods, or not enough veggies. Changing things up and make sure that you do keep those things. If you try one week, you might try something different, and it gives you, I don't know, the bad runs or something like that. You might not want to try it again, so don't try it again. Yeah. Um, so I think there's much to gain from changing things up and finding good solutions, good ways to make your life better as an artist and an illustrator. And there's many things you can try. Like I said, health is an important thing to think about as well. You don't want to just think about, oh, how much can I produce in a day, and how can I get that better, to produce as much as I can. You want to think about, also your health. Both your physical and your emotional. It's important, to keep your emotional in check. Um, because if you don't, you might get like depression, or feel sad, or something like that, and then you won't feel like painting, and you won't feel like creating, and you can get yourself into a rut where you're kind of, um, not producing artwork, you're just feeling crap about not producing artwork, and it's a full cycle. So you gotta keep yourself healthy, make sure you get right eating habits, the right exercise, right amount of exercise and things, um, to keep yourself happy, and changing things up. Sometimes, um, you might need, because maybe things change in your life. For instance, you're working at home now, so less need to go outside of your house, and with the pandemic and everything, um, you know, it may mean that you're sitting on your computer most of the time, or sitting on your desk drawing all the time. You've got to look at, also, you do need, the recommendation is usually 30 minutes a day. So you got to change things up. If you're always doing that, you got to change things up and make sure that you get those exercises you need, and try new things. Same with painting. If you're not getting good at it, you're just doing the same old drawings. You gotta change things up, try new things, and come back to what you're doing. Like, if you want to get better at characters, but you're just, you know, doing what you do, but you're producing the same kind of work, same kind of characters, and you want to do something different, try something different, and then come back to what you're doing. You'll notice, a change in it if you try something different. Um, a change in the way you produce work, or the way you create characters. It's always good to have. I'm kind of selling you on the idea here, of changing things up. Make a beneficial change in your life today. Or create a commercial ad here on my stream. I'm kind of, yeah, feels like I'm selling you the idea. But that's my kind of thoughts on that whole, changing your life and changing the way you do things. It's a constant battle. I've said it so many times in these streams and these videos. Um, and there's so many great artists I've chatted to, kind of about this topic, and about, how they live their life, and how they produce work, and keep going, the way they do. And it's not, a constant one-way road. You're always shifting roads. You're always, there's bumps in your road, and there's holes and potholes everywhere. um you know it's not a one-way street with no bumps, no potholes, no speed limits. There's speed limits galore, and bumps, and someone in your way, or something in your way. So you have to, constantly move, and not give up as well. If a hurdle gets in your way, for instance, like not being able to draw humans good, um, you really got to find a way around that hurdle. Change things up, learn a bit of human anatomy, um, learn, what the tibia and fibulas are, or, what the spine is, how many vertebrae in the spine, and things like that. Can be very useful. You may feel like it's not the greatest thing to know. But hey, someone could come up to you and you could tell them how many vertebrae are in the bone, which could create an interesting conversation or something like that. So, yeah, changing things up can be very beneficial for you to do, So, try new things, and also, the way you're learning anatomy as well can be very beneficial, The way you learn anatomy 1 year could be different from what you try a different year. For instance, just constantly drawing humans, and trying to get better that way. It could work for you, and then you feel like you're not improving that way, so you could try something else. Go to anatomy courses online. There's plenty of them out there. Proco.com, a lot of free stuff on YouTube about drawing anatomy. I've got stuff about drawing animals, certain animal skulls, and I will, go deeper into that. I've done paws, and I feel like I'll do more as well. I'm happy to do more. So, feel free to go check those videos out as well. Those videos about me drawing skulls and things like that could be very helpful. Changing things up. Yeah, it just is beneficial. So, hopefully, you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed me chatting about this topic. Feel free below if you, have any challenges that you've had to change for, or had to change the way you do things. Feel free to comment below if you've had any of those beneficial changes that you've made in your life that either has helped your art or has helped your career or life. Feel free to comment those below. I'd really be interested to see if there was any of that out there. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you did learn something, and feel free to subscribe if you like this video, if you want to see more, all of the videos that I did mention. So we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.